Yo. Man, is the levels good? I gotta make sure the levels is good. LYNX Live, I'm your host, Dame LYNX. Back with another hot episode for y'all. We're about to get into some things real chill night tonight. Look, I'm back to have some fun. Dame LYNX, remember, love yourself, no exceptions. And real quick, make sure you run on over to SoundCloud, run on over to YouTube and hit subscribe. Type in DAMELYNX, love yourself, no exceptions. That way you can keep up with me when I post, when the episodes drop, all the mixes I'm dropping over on SoundCloud. It's getting hot outside. And I'm ready to be outside. Like it's starting to warm up here in the DMV. It's feeling good. It's supposed to be 70 this weekend. It's Aries season, and y'all know Aries are like my favorite people, of course. So I'm excited for the summer this year. All right, so like I said, we got a real chill episode tonight. You know, we got to keep it PC. We definitely gonna get into some reality. I got a legal assistance required episode for you today. We gonna get into a lot of these court cases. A lot of court cases have been breaking the news. So, you know, let's just jump right into music bites, all right? A lot of new releases have dropped since I have been gone. And I'll go over a couple things I've been, you know, checking out, getting into. My girl, Coco Jones. Y'all know how much I love Coco Jones, right? So she's been dropping singles leading up to her debut album. She's going to be dropping probably within the next week or so. And you guys know how much I love me some Coco Jones. I am ready for her album because I can listen to her sing literally all day long. She can sing me the ABCs. And I'm tuned in. I'm buying it. So I'm excited for the Coco Jones release. She did give us another single recently. It's called Taste. Now, initially, when I heard this single, I wasn't really feeling it too much. She was sampling, it samples Toxic by Britney Spears, which is on my greatest songs of all time list. So I don't like those songs really touched. And the sample just feels really awkward in the single. And so I was not feeling it at first. But when she performed it live on the Terrell show a few weeks ago, she sold it. I told you the girl can sing anything. So I don't know. The Taste song isn't so bad. Maybe I just don't need the sample. The sample is just awkwardly placed for me. So that's why I wasn't feeling it. But live, it sounds great. But that girl, she can sing Me Mary Had a Little Lamb, and I'm tuned in. Oh, speaking of live, I forgot to tell y'all what I've been up to. So I went to see our girl Big Glow. Glorilla is on tour if you haven't seen it. You know, Glorilla, I've enjoyed watching Glorilla the last couple of years just to see how she popped out real hot. You know, that she had a little down moment real quick. Y'all tried to counter out. And then she came back in 2024 and just shut it down. And I definitely was excited to see her on tour. I had planned to go. She was down at the Anthem, down at the Wharf. Really nice venue, by the way. I really liked Anthem. And I actually bought the ticket like last minute. You know, the show was sold out. Everybody wanted to see Big Glow. The show was sold out. I bought my ticket at 7:30. Found it on StubHub for $60. So I had to run on down there to the Wharf and get into that Glorilla show. And I had a ball. You know, one thing about Glorilla, we've seen her grow with stage presence. I told y'all with her SNL show, she was killing it. Whatever that energy, she got a little bit of that Meg Thee Stallion energy, and Glorilla took it and shot up. So really great set list, really strong performances. She opened it up with Tomorrow, which was great, and then she jumped into a lot of the stuff from the new album. She had choreography, she had dancers, she had a set list. She even had a little movie vignette playing of her just you know, giving it like a podcast interview. It was a really fun show. It was packed. She used her features really well. She worked the stage really well. Like Glorilla is one to watch out for. Shout out to Big Glow. I enjoyed myself at that concert. If you guys have not seen her on tour, I think she's like halfway through it now. So make sure you check her out because that was a really great show. All right, back to new releases. So our boy Lil Nas X, he's preparing us for his next project. He's another one that got canceled, but that was because he was playing around. Rightfully so. He was just playing too many games. People don't be getting into that devil stuff, and then you playing with Jesus. And so, but one thing about Lil Nas X that I've always said and I've always respected is that the boy knows how to make good records. He can make music. I really enjoyed his debut project. So he has dropped 5 singles leading up to his next project, which is coming really soon. I think it's called Dream Boy. And I like all the singles. They sound really good, especially Hotbox. Hotbox is going to be my summer, my spring, prepare me for the summer vibe anthem. So I like what Lil Nas X is doing. Excited to hear his project. It's coming within the next month, I'm sure, because he's dropping all these singles. I wonder what he's got left for the album, because these songs are really good. So shout out to Lil Nas X. We definitely going to be checking for his project when it comes. Tory Lanez. So Tory Lanez dropped an album. Now y'all know Tory Lanez is currently in jail, you know, for the whole Meg Thee Stallion situation. And he has been releasing music. He was releasing music all last year that he recorded from jail. So he released a full album called Peterson, and I couldn't get into it because I'm really tired of hearing about the Megan Thee Stallion situation and how he's wrongfully accused and wrongfully imprisoned. I'm like over it. And I like R&B Tory better anyway, so I didn't make it all the way through the Peterson project. So y'all let me know, should I check it out? Because I'm kind of tired of the drama between him and Megan. I just wanted to go away for both of them, right? So let me know. A couple other albums to check out. K Camp, straight from Atlanta. You know I love me some K Camp. He dropped a project called Built Different. It's a vibe. Is, you know, if you know what K Camp brings, that's my energy. Just in time for the spring. I'm telling you, they hype me up. And then Playboy Carti, who is a popular artist, a popular rapper. He has a really huge fan base. He dropped I Am Music. He recently broke records with his first week sales and also his Billboard entries. So shout out to Playboy Carti. Haven't heard that project either. He's not always my vibe. I do plan to listen to it, but it's also a long ass album. It's like 30 tracks. So let me know what new releases you guys are listening to. Let me know what I should check out if I am missing anything, because you know I'm trying to stay on top of what's out there. So let me know. All right, so let's get into some legal assistance required. You know, all in the entertainment news, it's always some type of legal drama coming on. So we just gonna go over. I'm gonna read through my notes here. I got my notes. We're gonna read through some of these topics, some of these trending court cases and things that are going on in the courts. All right. All right, Tiana and Iman, you know, they divorced last year. Well, details of their settlement leaked, and it mentioned that Tiana got a lot of stuff in the settlement. You know, according to reports, she'll get 4 properties, a 7-figure payout, a Maybach, a Mercedes-Benz, you know, a tour bus. And also Iman's going to be ordered to pay $8,000 a month in child support to her. So that was a big thing because, you know, they had kept their divorce really, really hush hush. We didn't really know a lot what was going on about it. And Tiana claims that Iman is the one that's leaking, you know, that's leaking the information, right? So Tiana does something that she doesn't normally do. She went live to like address all the things that people were saying, and that, you know, the details, she never wanted anything bad to happen to Iman. The details make it seem like she walked away with all this stuff and drained him dry. And she was like, that's not true. They basically split everything down the middle for the most part, and there were damages for like a car that Iman crashed and some other things and legal fees that he needed to pay to her. So she was upset about it. I was actually very, very surprised. Because, you know, Tiana doesn't do that internet stuff. So, but she definitely felt the need to clear this up. She also let y'all know that she would like to get her back blown out in peace. And then she hung up her live. And I get it, because, you know, she's dating Aaron Pierre. That's Mufasa. So let Tiana get you a piece, Tiana. I understand. Oops. I want to knock my little wine glass over. Y'all know when I got my wine glass, it's a real chill night. Okay. So ASAP Rocky. So ASAP Rocky was acquitted of his charges. He was charged with 2 counts of assault with a semi-automatic firearm after an altercation back in 2021 with a former friend named ASAP Relly. So I didn't really follow that case too much. I was happy that he got acquitted. Rihanna was there with him when they announced the verdict. He was super excited. He ran up on Rihanna and jumped over the bench to hug and kiss her. So I don't know the details. Apparently there was a lot of missing information that allowed him to get off. But either way, we don't want to see him in jail because he's got a good year coming up too. He was the same day that the verdict dropped, like the very next day, they announced that he's going to be the creative director for Ray-Ban. What am I talking about? I'm mixing up Ray-Ban and the Met Gala because he's also on the board for the Met Gala this year. So shout out to ASAP Rocky. We're glad that he got off. But that was what I did hear about the case. It was an interesting case. Okay, so latest in the Drake lawsuit, my boy Drake is suing UMG and iHeartRadio because of giving additional promotion to the Not Like Us track. You know what I'm saying? And so, saying that there were bots, suing the label for trying to defame him, different things like that. And we all have come to understand that that was his tactic to try and not have Not Like Us performed at the Super Bowl. We already knew that. And it didn't happen. I mean, it did happen. It ended up, Kendrick Lamar performed the song at the Super Bowl. I'm trying to report this case without bias because you guys know how I feel about Drake. OVO for life. So he was suing iHeartRadio and he was also suing UMG, Universal Music Group. He came to some type of agreement or settlement with iHeart. So iHeart is good, but UMG is continuing to dismiss this lawsuit, or continuing to try to have this lawsuit dismissed. Right. And they wrote a spicy letter about Drake. Look, let me read it. Let me just read you a piece of the letter that they wrote to the courts about Drake. Plaintiff, one of the most successful recording artists of all time, lost a rap battle that he provoked and in which he willingly participated. Instead of accepting the loss like the unbothered rap artist he often claims to be, he has sued his own record label in a misguided attempt to salve his wounds. And that's just the beginning of the letter. It's a long letter and they cleared Drake out. Look, as much as I love Drake, y'all know I like the mess and I like the facts. So we're going to see how this plays out. I'm interested to see what happens. I feel like the case is going to be thrown out, but I would be interested to see if there is some validity to what Drake is talking about, because everybody talks about streaming farms. They talk about bots. Last year we focused a lot on streams and numbers and, performance of albums. And we'll be doing the same thing this year. I don't have a lot of drops that I'm anticipating this year, but nonetheless, I'm interested to see how this lawsuit with Drake and UMG plays out, just to see if there's some validity to this bots thing. Especially with, going into next month, Billboard is changing like the rules as far as like how sales go. So, interesting. Jay-Z's case was dismissed, and he's probably countersuing. So, there was the Jane Doe that filed a lawsuit accusing Jay-Z and Diddy of, sexual assault. We know about that. Well, that case was dismissed. From what I understand, like the Jane Doe, her story was conflicting. Like the stories continues to conflict everything that she was saying. And then they said that she was coerced by her lawyer. So that was thrown out, which I knew it would be. I'm totally against like the whole throw Jay-Z in the pot with Diddy thing. I don't even understand where that comes from. It's just very, very annoying. But I'm glad that case was dismissed. And a lot's going on with the Diddy case too. If you've been paying attention, his lawyer is no longer, one lawyer dropped himself from the case. The main lawyer, Tony Busby, is not allowed to practice in the district. That's the lawyer that filed the lawsuits. He's not allowed to practice in like Southern New York or something, like Southern New York City or something like that. So Diddy goes to trial in May, so we're gonna find out what happens with that. I'll be following that. I don't know if I'm really gonna report on it just because of the sensitivity, but we are gonna be anticipating how that plays out, because it's a lot with the Diddy situation and we don't want to believe it, and we're on the fence and we don't really know what to believe, and it seems egregious, but I don't know, something about it, especially after seeing that video with Cassie. I don't know. Anyway, Nicki Minaj was sued earlier this year by her assistant, apparently on the Pink Friday 2 tour. Let me pull the article up. Let me make sure my iPad ain't tripping. Let's get the article pulled up. Yeah, so her assistant, he was on the Pink Friday 2 tour with her. According to the lawsuit, he alleges that after Minaj finished her show, he was called to her dressing room. He claims that when he arrived, Minaj yelled at him for sending someone else to pick up one of her prescriptions. He alleges that Minaj smacked his face and slapped his wrist, knocking documents out of his hand. He also claims that Minaj threatened him by telling him that his life was over. This is an article from Vice.com. So, no further updates on that case. We haven't heard anything. Nicki Minaj is just now kind of waking up out of hibernation. So I don't know. I pretty much think they'll probably settle in this case. But Nicki Minaj around here acting like Naomi Campbell. Come on, girl. I don't know. When it comes to these assistants and stuff like that, I don't know. All right, so another story, Atlanta Police Department. This was interesting. They are blaming Lil Baby's video shoot for recent gang violence. So Lil Baby shot a video in a gang territory in Atlanta. And on the set of the video shoot, there was a shooting, which I didn't even know about this. I don't even remember. Did I miss this last year? Because this was in November or something like that, I think. And then shortly after that, 4 teenage boys were shot or something like that. And so they're saying that Lil Baby was negligent by choosing to film his video there, knowing that it was heavy gang area. It was an area with a lot of gang activity. And he should have made a more responsible choice because all he did was inflict and incite, you know, this type of violence. And they actually said he was a leader of one of the gangs down there in Atlanta, which don't get me to talking about the gangs, because when I was in Atlanta, I didn't know nothing about no gangs. But nonetheless, Lil Baby says he's okay. He's not worried about this. They're just using his name for the celebrity. And I don't know. I'm kind of conflicted, especially when it comes to, like, you know, being a celebrity and going back to the hood. And then a lot of this music further enforces the violence and the drugs and all that stuff like that. And then you're in the hood and you were affiliated with this or whatever at one point. You might not be a member anymore. You know, so I don't know. I found it funny that this came up as like a thing, but you know, the big thing now is to include these celebrities in these court cases so that they gain traction and that they get attention. So let me know what you guys think. Look, that's going to be it for Music Bites. We're going to get into some more music and then we'll be right back with some reality. So grab your drinks.
Why my bad bitches?